What's good, everybody? What's good, everybody? I just uploaded a video. It'll probably be on like my channel in a couple minutes or whatever. But I just wanted to drop another video. I was like pretty much like pondering. Like a lot of people talk about the Matrix when they like first awaken or when they like feel like they're on the verge of like becoming conscious. And I noticed that like despite the Matrix being like written as well as the Terminator movies being written by a melanated woman, I've always wondered like if that movie was just directed to a certain group of people. Now I'm not trying to sound like like a bigot or like like a biased person or racist or anything, but it's like with like that being said, a melanated woman, Miss Sophia, I forgot her last name, but she created, oh, as yeah, her name is Miss Sophia Stewart. She created these stories back, I believe, in the 80s. And it's like, when certain people become conscious, like, they put it in their, like, their expressions, like whether it's like, some type of art expression or some type of like, like movement or whatever, like, especially back then in those times. So I was really like analyzing that movie. I was like really watching the Matrix. It's like, there's a difference between like when you watching something and like, when you like just looking at it. Like a lot of people look at the movie. They seen the movie. They look at it for what it is, entertainment. But it's like, when you really start to break it down, it's like it makes so much sense that that movie was actually directed to like melanated people. Now, if you like have a problem with me saying this, then like just don't get on my channel. Like just go. This ain't even for you. This is like pretty much for like us, like my people. No disrespect to anybody, but I was watching that movie. Not only did they wear like all black and stuff like in the Matrix, but it's like, yo, the place where they went after they got outside of the Matrix. When they got outside the Matrix, they were like in Zion. So I was like, okay, like you don't really pay it no mind like Zion, but like that's what like a lot of like a lot of the rosters call like heaven and stuff. They call it Zion. I believe they do. So I was like, okay, no big deal, no big deal. But when you start to really analyze, bro, like Trinity, like the three main characters, bro, like you got the Greek god of like dreams. You got the Greek god of dreams in there. And the problem is like, what was the whole thing? They were asleep. They weren't conscious. They were like there. That's why he was labeled a terrorist. Like he was an extremist. He was a revolutionary. That's just like a lot of melanated like people when they start to wake up and start going against like this beast we call the like the machine or the system. And it's like, like, okay, that's another one. Like Trinity is always in black in the Matrix. Like she's like in leather, like black leather, like from freaking like from shoulder to like feet. And it's like, bro, like, okay, like maybe I'm like over like looking or like I'm looking too hard into this, but a lot of like top like teachers and stuff in our community like pretty much say that it's the triple darkness, like the triple black, like which represents melanin in its three forms. So I was like, okay, like maybe I'm just doing too much now. Then when you get to Neo, the neocortex, which is the area where like the motive skills, like memory and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, the Akashic records. They said there were 5 predecessors before Neo. Neo being the 6, which is the number of man. It's like, okay, now like you start to like get out of that. Like, I'm not crazy. So they're playing off our science. Like you got the neocortex, you got the triple darkness of melanin, and then you got the dream world or the god of dreams, like that being Morpheus. And it's like, yo, everybody else in the movie is named off of computer parts or like some type of like software or something or hardware. So I'm like, bro, like I'm not tripping. So I was like, yo, like, dabbling deep, like you realize you start to really make like the whole like the whole assumption like that you have true when you really like look at Smith. Smith is the government. He is like that, like, that person or that entity that wants to get out of the matrix. Now, let's take it back a couple years ago, like a little over 10 years ago or whatever, when they first activated CERN. When you really like pay attention what they're saying, like they talk about like, trying to find the God particle. What the fuck is the God particle? The God particle is the soul. Why are they looking for the God particle? Because they don't have the triple blackness. They don't have the melanin. Like, even if your skin is brown or whatever, you may not have the triple darkness. Because that's like in every melanated, like when I say melanated person, I mean like quote unquote black person, indigenous person. That's what I mean. So like it don't matter if you have like color in your skin or anything, you may not have it either. So you can just have color in your skin, but you have to have the triple darkness to get out of the matrix. So I was like, yo, like they actually like really dropping science. Like, going back to what I was like originally saying, like the government is actually trying to escape this reality. That's why they constantly try to go to different planets. They trying to like, go to different worlds and stuff, see if it like, if they can like live on that, see if it's inhabitable or whatever. Like that's their whole objective. Like they'll tell you like, oh, we're just looking for like more things. Like the Egyptians already knew about the particles and stuff, how they constantly get smaller and smaller and smaller. Like it's infinity smaller, infinitely larger. Like, you're gonna find like things that are bigger. Like, you got land mass, you got like continents, you got like freaking the earth, then you got like the solar system, then you got like the freaking galaxy, the universe, and then so on and so forth. Like it gets bigger and bigger, as well as it gets smaller and smaller, with like neutrinos, like freaking glutons, and like all that stuff. So I'm like, yo, they're really, really trying to like, they're really telling us stuff. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people will be like, oh, the movie boring, I hate the dialogue. But it's the most important part of the movie. It's the most important part of the movie. Again, I'm not a racist, but when I see something like that, I've automatically like just start to like really dabble into like these movies and stuff. I feel like when you really watch something, you can really pull like the actual information out. A lot of people reflect on that movie so much, but it's like, it's not for everybody, because like, you thinking that you're a Neo, but the whole time you could be like a cipher. I've seen so many people that are actual ciphers and stuff that are like, they don't want to like be conscious no more. And this is my people. Like, they wake up, like, they like know the whole system. Like, this system is like, is rigged, it's set against us, like, for like so many reasons, but we can get in that in another video. But they be like, it's so rigged against us. Like, all this is an illusion. Like, they do certain things to like trigger us to keep our minds here so that this reality can continue to stay afloat and all this other stuff. Just to go back and like, okay, well, I like watching football and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to knock football because I do watch it seldomly. Like, I don't care for it. I don't get my emotions and stuff in it. I really think it's just entertainment. Like, other than that, it's like you crying over a team, like, that don't even pay you. But anyway, like, let me just bring this like to a point. So they just go back to sleep in a nutshell, bro. It's like, dude, like you were just conscious like 4 or 5 years ago. Motherfuckers was dropping gems and stuff, like had me like, like questioning and like thinking about things like more. And then just to like find out that they're back in the matrix. So like, what I'm saying is, everybody, that watched the movie, watch it. But it may not be like for you. Like Smith was the he was a representation of everybody that's non-melanated or not black or whatever you want to call us, indigenous, melanated. Like, he was like that representation. And the most iconic part of the movie that a lot of people probably don't even look at, they probably just like the fight scene that led up to it, is that moment that led up to the that fight scene. Like, a lot of people don't really like listen to the dialogue that Smith was like, talking when he was talking to Morpheus in the room. He actually unplugged that first. He was the first one to unplug, like, by himself. They had to help Neo unplug. Smith unplugged his earpiece. Like, that was a representation of him getting out of the Matrix, or trying to get out of the Matrix. He was no longer a part of their, like, little circuitry. So that part was like so amazing. He was like, he's sick of it. He's sick of that place. He hates the way it smells, the air, like, the people, like, going on with their little minute lives and stuff. Like, it was so much dialogue, that a lot of people overlooked, or better yet, like, didn't even like give an ear to. So I was like, this is the government, like, saying that, like, yeah, we're soulless beings. No disrespect to anybody that's not melanated, but the government is like, we're soulless beings. We want to get the fuck out of here. You have the key to get us out of here. He said, you have the key to get us out of here. He has the key. The key is the melanin. Back in, I believe, the 60s and 70s, they were actually like, they were trying to extract our melanin from us to, like, run tests on it, like, see how it is. It's chaos. It doesn't even perform the same as it does in, like, other people's bodies. So what they did was they created medicines and stuff. That's why Henrietta Lacks's DNA is still in Johns Hopkins. Like, they're not giving that DNA up, because, like, that's their life. That's their life support, bro. Anything, heaven forbid, if anything happened to any of those, like, labs that they have her DNA in, it's a wrap for them. It's a wrap. And that's why, like, no disrespect, that's why they use, like, mixed people. They're trying to push the whole agenda about, like, mixing and interracial relations and all that. Me personally, that's not my thing. I love my people. But, I mean, if that's what you do, then that's what you do. I don't judge nobody. But it's not for, like, the reasons what you think. It don't matter. Like, that shit don't matter about love. Like, it don't matter about love. They're actually trying to push that shit to where, like, we got more babies and we can use their DNA, because, like, who hasn't been to the hospital? Who hasn't given blood? Like, come on, like, hair samples, like, skin samples, blood, like, urine, whatever. Like, they got all your information and shit. So they could be making, like, medicines. They could be making clones of you. They could be doing all kinds of shit. Like, you never know. So my thing is, really analyze these movies, because, like, for real, the actual information that we, like, think we know could be even more deeper than what we, like, what we first initially, like, expected. So my thing is this, again, like, I don't do no racist videos. I don't care about that. I do love my people, and I do, like, make videos for my people, but I don't bash nobody else. I could care less about other groups. It's about, like, uplifting and, like, giving my people the spiritual knowledge and stuff. But, whoever else, like, want to listen in, I don't care. But again, check that movie out. Really watch it. Watch The Matrix for what it is. But again, The Matrix and Terminator are the same movie, because, like, I don't think I actually got into this part, but let me hurry up and, like, just say this real quick. The Matrix and the Terminator is actually the same thing. And when you really watch these two movies, you see that, like, the humans were actually forced underground. That's where they was hinting at in Terminator, I think 1 through, like, Terminator all the way to Salvation. Everything else is, like, just BS. They're talking about the Rainbow Bridge, aka time travel and all that, the loop, infinite loop, because that's what it is. When you fuck with time, you become trapped in the loop. Like, some people can get trapped in, like, a loop for eternity and stuff. And what else? That movie was also about transhumanism. It was about, like, the whole, like, everybody, like, is getting replaced with technology, but the technology goes bad, and it becomes, like, more more confident on its own, like autonomous, and it just took over. They said that they scorched the sky with the nukes and stuff to like try to destroy the Terminators and all that stuff. But they also said that, I believe they said that in the Matrix. They said they scorched the sky to like, you know, destroy the robots and all that stuff. But it didn't work because by that time, like, they have already evolved and stuff. And I believe that the Matrix is probably about 200-300 years into the future. So like 200-300 years after Skynet. But you know, they don't know anything about the little Skynet and all that. They just know that the robots took over and like, you know, they were battling them and all this other stuff. And then they started using them like, you know, human batteries and all that stuff. But yo, that movie is good. You gotta watch both of those movies. Like, you know, Terminator 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 sucked. But I mean, again, it's not for entertainment. 4, everything else is like a repeat. Because after Salvation, you got Genesis, and then you got the other one, and it's like, bro, they were just making movies just to make them at that point because, like, they didn't really have any type of, like, you know, like, actual plots and stuff. Like, that's why they suck so bad. I mean, it's really no information in them because it's like, it's just copying off the first couple of movies, and it's like, okay, it's transhumanism. But fast forward it. When you go to the Matrix 4, which everybody hated, you got to really watch these movies because, like, yo, again, the Muds were reincarnated. When they died, quote unquote, they were actually reincarnated into like the Matrix again as different people. That's why they didn't know each other. It was like crazy. And what else? They actually lost the battle. They lost the battle in part 3. Neo's whole purpose was to be a sacrifice, and once that purpose was done, they're gonna have to look for another, like, you know, one, because Neo is actually in the system now. Like, I don't know how, like, it made no sense to have Neo in the movie when they were both killed at the end. So it's like they just wanted to bring him back for money, to get money into it, like, you know, bring money into the like the actual movie. But they were actually, if you look at the Matrix was actually the telling of the story because Neo and Trinity were reincarnated. They lost the war. So the whole like transhumanism, like robots helping humans and all that, like autonomy and all that shit, like it started again. It's like this time those robots are inside of Zion. So it's like the breach of Zion. So that could lead to another war, which would be in reference to another, like, you know, war in heaven. So like, yo, you gotta really break down these movies, Melanated people, and whoever else want to like break them down. But like, you know, again, like that movie is really directed to Melanated people, and it's like, yo, a lot of us don't really watch movies like that. A lot of us don't really like peep the dialogue and like, you know, see what the movie is actually trying to like, you know, subliminally like tell you. So like, yo, we got to get in the like the habit of really like paying attention to these movies. But yo, I ain't gonna bore y'all head. I probably drop another video in pertaining to like the inauguration and where like, you know, this country may like head from here. But I don't know. To the next video, I'll catch y'all.